Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord.
This is Aaron. I go by Treffinwood on Discord.
This is Josh. I go by Grimmelzog on Discord.
Welcome back. Sadly, Parker couldn't join us. He's busy tearing carpet out of his house, I think.
That was so last week.
He made the horrible mistake of saying that he was going to be at the game store no matter what on Thursday. So literally God intervened and flooded his house with water at 9 a.m. in the morning. And he was like, "Are you fucking shitting me?" And then he's like, "Well, it probably won't be that bad, so I'll just go to the store for a little bit." And then it flooded again, I think. He's just like, no matter what, he's not going.
Didn't he say 4 inches of water in his basement? Something
it wasn't that bad. He said that because his basement's really unlevel. And so there were probably spots with 4 inches, but the carpeted area was just wet. And there was a couple like 1 inch deep, but most of it was just damp. And so it was a lot of old carpet anyway, so they're tearing that out, I guess, today.
Good to go.
But yeah, so not committed to the podcast.
Yeah. This is the second person locally that's had basement flooding issues after large rains. And I think both of them have sumps in their house, but neither of them had pumps to pump the water out of the sump.
Mm-hmm.
I was under the incorrect assumption that a house either had to have a sump pump or had to have a walkout basement, because the walkout basement is going to be, if you have a basement, let's preface it, if you don't have a basement, then you're fine. But in order to deal with the drainage issues, you either, if your basement was below the ground, you're going to have water accumulate at some point. So you have to have a sump to catch it and a pump to get it out. Or if your basement is still above the lowest ground around your house, it'll be a walkout basement because of just how the house is designed with the corresponding terrain. But both of these houses, Parker's and the other person's, did not have a sump pump. And both of them are flooded. So, okay.
Basements flooding in Kansas is not a new thing either. It happens fairly regularly.
Yeah.
I have never heard that you're required to have a sump pump. Maybe the houses must be currently designed with sumps, but not. I don't think you're required to put a pump in it. It's just obviously a good idea.
I guess, yeah, that's my point. Is why would you not?
It's you're not required to change your oil. It's just you should. You shouldn't not do that.
So there's an entire generation of homeowners just I don't know what this fucking hole is for. Oh, well, covered up with some cardboard and just go about our business.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those, well, it's never flooded before mentalities. And it could be also that a lot of homes had pumps when they were built and, purchased, and then they just, you never fucking use it, and it just ends up not working 15 years later. Right.
They don't even have the
right. They just
the tubing installed. It's just not there. But yeah, I can understand.
Oh, they did even if they had a pump, it wouldn't work, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, you have to pump it up and out of your basement because it's below ground level. So ours is,
well, I guess it depends.
7-8 feet below where it gets pumped out of, and then it goes underneath my yard, probably 100 feet. And then there's a drain where it pops up. So, yeah,
my house is similar.
You just can't buy a pump. You need a pump.
Yeah, mine is integrated into the house. It doesn't come up out of the basement. It's just there's this little hole and it just does its thing.
Okay.
And then also there's minor construction happening in my basement. So the ground is tore up because they're replacing the main water pipe because it's old black iron pipe. And they're replacing it with PVC. It hasn't been worked on in a year. It's just open so that they can do the work, but they never did the work, and then they're just being slow about it. So I've got 2 pumps in my basement. One pumps the water in the big hole into the sump, and then the sump pump for the house pumps it out. And so, but yeah, I would imagine most homes in Kansas probably have a physical pump. I would not be surprised if a vast majority of them didn't work.
I feel it's one of those things you don't worry about it until you need it, and then it's too late.
Mm-hmm. You just can't forget about it.
Ours failed, but just like everything that's electronic, one day it works, the other day it doesn't. And obviously, it's the middle of a huge rainstorm, so our basement flooded. And so now I'm wondering, at what point do I install a battery backup? And if it's just a battery backup, it's not going to change the actual pump stopping to work, right? So
yeah,
I need a secondary sump pump that will also kick in.
Yeah.
No, so we didn't. It was just so a lot of times with a thunderstorm, you will lose electricity, and that'll cause the sump pump to not work, and then your basement floods.
Right.
So it's a good idea to have a battery backup, but now I'm considering installing a second pump just as an actual physical backup should the first one fail.
You should just install a sub-basement underneath your basement to catch all the water.
Exactly.
That's like a really good idea.
Yeah.
Bottom line, water is the bane of all homeowners. I fucking hate it.
No, like there's a reason I would never buy the house that we rent, and it's got like basement issues because you can see where the sidewalls like started like sagging and cracking really bad, and so they installed these like I-beams all the way around that run parallel to the walls, and so they keep the wall held back, but like they've never fixed it. Eventually that's going to become worse as the ground continues to settle over the years. And so like we wouldn't buy this house even though they offered to rent to own. It's like, yeah, we wouldn't.
The last place I lived in was a shitty duplex, and there were beams keeping too many of the walls in the basement up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know about that. And he's like, it'll be fine. I was like, okay, well, rent's pretty reasonable, I guess. So here we are. Don't need the basement for anything, but
yeah, I mean, unless you've got stuff down there, it really like it's like the house is going to collapse. It's like just the wall might cave in like the distant future. Like it's obviously a problem you would have to attend to when it happened, but like until it does, it's just kind of ugly. So let's see. We just had the thunderstorm last week. We were constantly losing power while we were trying to record. Zach lost power, couldn't be on the cast. I lost power before and after the podcast. I literally only had power for like a 3-hour period, and it was when we were podcasting. I thought for sure I was going to have to bail out.
We didn't do too bad in Lawrence. Like I said, I think we got 4 inches of rain in an hour, and part of the building that's brand new that I work at, brand new quotations, flooded for the 3rd time. So there was a whole office shut down because they could not be in there. It's probably at the point now they're going to replace the carpet. If it's happened 3 times, it's just like, you can only dry that carpet so much. So as long as it's not my office.
Yep.
But I do love a good Kansas thunderstorm. Sleep like a baby.
Thunderstorms are weird. It's kind of nice, kind of sucks.
I like them, but I have coworkers that are like terrified of them. Like I've
never been afraid of a thunderstorm. Like obviously tornadoes is different, but
she like starts
and even tornadoes, like unless it's
out.
In your neighborhood, like who cares? Like it's unfortunate for someone, but not you.
I was like, I don't even think I've lived through a city that's been hit by a tornado.
Kansas City really doesn't get hit because of like the geography of the
Tonganoxie split.
The Tonganoxie divide basically diverts the tail end away from the city, which is why the tornadoes never hit the major city. They hit the small townships around Kansas City really hard.
Well, KC's pretty hilly too, so I feel like you got the river there. Because that's what we always said when I lived in Emporia, why tornadoes never hit. It's like it's in between 2 rivers, so the pressure just gets weird, and the storm would rather go around, I guess.
I had to study tornadoes for my FAA stuff, and I never knew this before looking into it, but the tornado like always forms on like the back edge of the storm cell, and so it's always like on the bottom on the left, basically, is where you'll see the tornado circulation going, and so it's just interesting. So if you just look at Doppler radar, you can tell if you're in like a danger zone or not.
That'd be good to know, because I had to do when I was a bus aide. I had to attend like basically a storm chaser class, and to be like, this is what it looks like when a tornado starts forming, and these are the areas that you need to shelter in, because that was
the thing that actually scared me the most about doing the class is it's almost impossible to like for sure spot a tornado in bad conditioning. Like you almost have to look at radar because it could be. There's so many things that obstruct view to the physical cell that you wouldn't know that it's tornado or not.
And a lot of our routes were rural, and so it's like, where do you take cover? It's like, nowhere. You need to move until you can just get away from it or find somewhere to hunker down.
Well, I wanted to ask Parker this because Parker is definitely interested in one aspect of it, but have you guys watched Ironheart yet?
Have not.
No, my brothers did. and they were less than impressed.
Whelmed.
They didn't actively say like, "Oh, this is bad," because like, what was it? Secret Wars. We watched one episode, and I was like, I think I'm done. Like, I've got a pretty low bar for most things. I'm just looking to be entertained, and I was like, I don't think so. But they watched it, and they're like, you could, if you have the time, watch it, but.
Yeah, so, like, I think the character Ironheart was not compelling at all. I'm not really versed on any. I didn't know anything about Ironheart that other than stuff Parker's told me in passing. So I had no attachment to the character at all. I thought the way they introduced the side characters was interesting. Like, basically the bad guys of the show was definitely more interesting than the protagonists. But yeah, I didn't hate it. It was entertaining. But yeah, I was not interested in the Ironheart character at all. There's some they lean heavy into building up other characters in the show. I think it's only 6 episodes too. It was fine. I wasn't impressed.
I'm pretty excited for Fantastic Four. I've hit that time where I'm like, I just avoid all of my movie subreddits and everything I can so that it doesn't get spoiled. Because I kind of assume with how they've set it up, we need another group of people that are going to be the main focus, and it's not going to be the Avengers. We've already done the Avengers. And
apparently, Kevin Feige had like a interview or media day or something recently. Did you hear about this? He apparently said that he really regrets the direction that MCU went after Endgame. Like the way they tried to move into the next phase, he says they deeply regret the whole way they planned it out. And they definitely focused on quantity over quality. And that was the first time they had ever done that, and they regret it. And so he said that they plan on continuing with the projects the way they've been doing it, but they're going to scale back the quantity to take their time to make higher quality stuff.
And I think that is the way to do it. Because, like, I go see every Marvel movie opening weekend if I can. And I have liked the kind of experimental stuff that they've done. They weren't, because a lot of people said, like, before Endgame it was very formulaic. Like, every movie kind of was laid out the same. I was like, I could see that. And so I haven't minded that they're like, what if we make, like, the new Doctor Strange kind of a horror movie, right? Like, get body horror stuff in there. I watch Werewolf by Night, like, every 8 months. I think that's fantastically done. So I didn't mind the experimental part of it, but it definitely was like, they just kept making stuff. I'm like, well, where is this going? Like, I'm entertained by it, but I think the main draw of the MCU is, like, all of these threads getting pulled together to one big epic conclusion, and it doesn't feel like you're doing that.
Well, I think it's partially that, but also with all the little stuff they've done. Like, they did a bunch of, like, one-off TV shows. They did a bunch of, like, new introductory movies. And so you didn't know if they were, like, tying all of it together, or if some of it was being tied, some of it wasn't. And it's like the only real, like you said, conglomerate movie we had was, like, Thunderbolts. Like, everything else was pretty much a one-shot.
Yeah.
And so, like, there was so much of it, like, we never knew what was going to be important, what wasn't.
I will be curious to see how they do. I haven't seen the new Superman yet. It's on my list. How they do the DCU, because that was what I didn't like about it, is they just jumped into it. They were just like full throttle Justice League right away. And it's like, okay, but you really haven't built anything up. We're just kind of, and I don't like Zack Snyder as a director. So, and he had a lot of influence over the Justice League movie, but I'll be curious to see if they pace themselves correctly. And we're getting the Lord of the Rings cinematic universe too. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, we're getting a Hunt for Gollum movie. Gollum, the most interesting of Lord of the Rings characters.
Yeah, I never liked Gollum.
Oh, you don't want to play the known 5 out of 5 Gollum game that came out?
No.
I thought it was a joke. I thought CJ was fucking with me for a long time because he kept sending me like links to it. I was like, "There's no way.
This is like some fan-made
like
trailer.
this is like you're making up nonsense. Someone's like committing to the bit. They're full on making like what looks like gameplay. Is like you're fucking with me. This is not a real thing." He's like, "No, this game is coming out." I was like, "It will crash and burn immediately." But I'm not opposed in general to the movement of people trying to do cinematic universes. I just kind of also think early Marvel up to Endgame was like lightning in a bottle, and no one else has done it well.
Yeah, early Marvel was so nice because they really negotiated the transition from independent movies to like the Universal movies well. But I mean, there's still plenty of the early Marvel movies that are a lot of nostalgia. Like Iron Man 1 is a great movie, but also it's heavily propped up by nostalgia. Like it was such a great adaptation for its time, but like there's a lot of issues with the movie too. Like it doesn't mean it's not a great movie. It's just not the pinnacle of cinema like some people pretend it is.
No.
And like arguably the other two Iron Man movies weren't nearly as good.
I fucking
the Thor
love Iron
movies
Man
were
2.
questionable. The Hulk was all over the place. Like there's a lot of issues with the MCU, but they still did it better than anybody else did.
Yeah.
But most of that was towards the end when they started getting the Avengers stuff going. And like I don't know if Lord of the Rings is a cinematic universe or if you just have a sequel / prequel that, well, obviously it's a cinematic universe because it's the same characters.
So like, we'll see what they do because
cinematic universe I think implies that you're having different characters with different origin movies then coming together in the same world.
The supreme gatekeeper of Lord of the Rings died last year, I think, like 2 years ago. It was Christopher Tolkien, so it was Tolkien's son, and he was very protective of it. Right? He hated the movies. Like he's gone on record being like, I despise these movies.
He hated the trilogy, or he hated the prequels, or not prequels?
The Hobbit movies. I think he hated all of it. So
okay,
and he was very protective, and that's why, like, despite Lord of the Rings being very popular, you just didn't see much for it. But now it's gone to like the estate, and they're seeing dollar signs. So
yeah, I bet.
We'll see. Because, like, Lord of the Rings is an interesting enough universe. I think there are stories you could probably tell. And maybe even, this will be heresy, make up interesting characters to tell alternative, like, not alternative, but, like, different viewpoints of what was going on.
Have you watched Rings of Power?
We've talked about this. Time. I watched the very first episode, and I was like, I cannot do this. So
you're saying that you want them to create new characters?
No. I'm saying
you won't even watch Rings of Power.
I'm saying they're going to do that.
Okay,
they are going to print those checks of money.
Yeah,
and I'm at least, I guess, willing to give it a try if it's interesting. But
I really want you to watch Rings of Power and tell me what you think.
I can give it another shot.
I don't
hate the idea. I don't hate the idea of what they were doing. Yeah. I just was, and I like Lord of the Rings. It didn't draw me in right away. And we've talked about before, like, I don't watch very much television. So it's like, okay, well, do I really want to devote like 12 hours of this that I could be reading a book or playing a game or doing something instead of just sitting and watching television?
Yeah.
I am sad that the Monsterverse never got kicked off correct when they made
the Monsterverse.
So Universal was going to do the Monsterverse because they have like they did the original like Dracula, Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Invisible Man, all of those. And allegedly that's after Marvel's big like we made oodles and oodles of cash with Endgame. They're like, well, we're gonna do our own. That's why we got the Tom Cruise Mummy movie. And Dracula Untold. Those were supposed to be.
That was it? That was their shot?
Oh yeah. And that killed itself right away.
I didn't hate Dracula Untold. I refused to watch the Tom Cruise Mummy movie.
Dracula Untold is a guilty pleasure of mine. I like.
I don't think it was that bad. I mean, they got a lot of the key points. They had decent acting. It was a little cheesy, but it's fucking Vampire Man. Like,
yeah.
What did you expect?
I'm watching a vampire movie for like, I guess, I don't know. There's two ways I want to watch it. Either you're doing like a gothic horror creepy, like Nosferatu, or you're giving me power fantasy where this guy is decimating a whole army with bats and teleporting and like doing crazy shit. Like, those are the two kinds of vampire movies I want.
Did you see the Dracula TV show on Netflix?
Yes, and it was phenomenal.
I thought it was really good.
I thought it was
a really good adaptation of Dracula.
I was sad. I was like, okay, cool, season 2, and like, no, it was that. That's it. But like, they told the whole story. It's like, that's fair. You did it.
Yeah.
But I like that. I'm excited for. Or, is it out? No, it's not out yet. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. I don't generally enjoy Frankenstein's story, but I like Guillermo del Toro, so.
Cool.
Let's see.
I think that comes out this year.
Yeah, it says it does.
And I think it's got...
Guillermo's the director?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you saying it's going to be better than I, Frankenstein?
Have you seen Ike Frankenstein?
I have not.
Oh, well, you should go watch it and see what you think.
Okay. Do you think I should watch it? Are you recommending it?
Are you going to charge me for the 2.5 hours wasted while you watch it? Okay, well, then I'm not going to pay you, so you should not go watch it. Because it is very much like, man, we need a monster to fill in this idea.
Yeah, it's one of those many times Hollywood's like, we have this script, and somebody's like, well, what if we made him Frankenstein? You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. It's Aaron Eckhart. What are you talking about? He's like, but what if he was Frankenstein? It's like, but like he has a romantic relationship with this person in the movie. It's like, we'll just work around it. Like,
yeah, it's fine. He's just an amalgamation of corpses. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's no biggie.
No, I actually really liked one of my other guilty pleasure movies is Van Helsing.
Oh, I love Van Helsing. It's so good.
I watched that movie so many times growing up as a kid. Just loved it. And I'm sad we never got more. Like, I was like, I would have kept watching Hugh Jackman go on monster hunting movies.
Well, it's hard to, like, trump Dracula, right? Like, that's always the problem with, like, the random movies. They always jump the shark on the first one when they could have built. And that's, like, really the MCU thing, right? It's like they didn't try and jump the shark the first time around. It's like, just build origin stories and build on it. And so, Aaron, did you ever watch Van Helsing?
Yeah.
I assumed just for Kate Beckinsale you would have enjoyed it.
I can't say no to Kate.
She was my number one for a very long time.
Still is.
I loved some Kate Beckinsale.
I love watching interviews with her because she's just such a lunatic in real life.
She's crazy, dude. Yeah,
she's so crazy. It's hilarious. She's like crazy in a devious way too. Like it's so great. It's the way she like pranks people. Did you hear she travels with a 2-person horse costume in her luggage at all times?
Just
so that if she ever feels depressed or sad, she can like wrangle, because nobody who's going to say no, right? Kate Beckinsale approaches you in a hotel. It's like, do you want to be part of my horse costume? You're like, yes. Like, doesn't matter. Name the day. It's like, so then they just wander around the hotel in a horse costume. No story. Like, everyone's like, what's happening? And nobody knows who it is. So they're all like, what's the weirdo in the costume?
Yeah. I'd have about 20 seconds of concern of like, is
no,
today the day they get my organs? Like, I'm falling for organ traffickers. And I'd be like, okay, you know what? I'm in. Let's see what it can do.
So, Aaron, I hear there's some shuffling of the cards in Judgment right now.
Yeah, ever since they released the last patch, it's been pretty, not quite Wild West, but let's say they dumped a bunch of colors in the pot, hit mix. Nice. Everyone's waiting to see what the color that comes out is.
So what I've heard from people yelling 10 feet away from me at the store is...
Who would do that?
Dwarves are bad, and demons are good. That's what I've collected.
Sure. You should ignore all those people yelling 10 feet away from you.
Damn it.
What I think is more interesting, so rather than going through a judgment what's good, what's bad in the game, is the launch of tribes as a concept good or bad for the game. I don't think it's good or bad, but I'm pretty sure. So I've been, mainly because I'm on a podcast for Judgment, and we've been giving opinions, I've been testing a lot of the stuff that came out. So we can have relatively, a few games is not an informed opinion, but more informed than zero. Go ahead.
Are you trying to say you don't just skim read something and scream from mountains that you're absolutely correct about it?
I try not to.
Okay.
I might fail once in a while, but I try not to.
All right.
Yes. So I'm about done with kind of that initial testing period. And what I think I'm going to do after this is done is probably never play Tribes again.
It sounds like they're less powerful than normal god factions.
I don't know that. In fact, in some ways, they're much more powerful.
I have no frame of context. Is Tribes like a racial thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're
So
playing,
the gods
instead of a
have
god, you're
champions.
like, I'm all orcs. I'm all this.
Yep.
The gods have certain champions that work for them, and it's usually there's kind of like a leaning direction, but it's pretty mixed.
Yeah.
And then Tribes is just only play that one race, and there's benefits designed around the race's natural stats, which is interesting. From what Parker told me at D&D, the dwarves just get flat damage reduction for the tribe. Is that right?
They are immune to armor piercing. So
okay, very cool
for the most part.
Because the way he described it to me is like, just imagine. Because I was like, Parker, you talked about nothing but wanting to play all dwarves forever. Why don't you play the dwarf list? He's like, imagine this. All of your models stop 1 damage all the time. It's like, that sounds okay. Just for context, Josh, average damage in the game is about 3-ish. 3 to 4 is
I was
about
gonna
the
say,
average hit.
I know it's less spiky.
It's not a huge number.
It's really
right?
hard to one-shot someone, right?
So just taking 1 off the top on all damage rolls seems pretty good.
Yeah, your resistance number, the DR, is probably the most important value in the game.
Yeah, the most important single stat is probably resistance.
And so the dwarves' benefit is your opponent. I'm going to broad brush it. Your opponent cannot reduce your DR.
Okay.
Yeah, they cannot.
So,
that seems good.
It is extremely good.
Yeah. Parker then follows up with, "But you auto lose every game."
That's also not fucking true, but whatever.
It's obviously hyperbole, but he was very frustrated at the time.
So here's Josh. Since you don't know anything about this will be a good sounding board. Normally, when you build your warband in a god before this patch existed, you got to bring 7 models and then pick ban like a MOBA.
Yes.
And so there was a lot of thought and strategy that went into, okay, what are my weaknesses? Who's going to get banned? How do I cover that? And so the pick ban process went into both your strategic calculus, which 7 models do I bring, and your tactical calculus at the game table. Okay, do I want to ban Model X because I just fucking hate Model X? I can do that. It was great. Or do I find the weakness, or do I find what my list can't deal with? Or do I need to ban theirs based on what they ban from mine? And if that's the case, do I need to ban second instead of first? So there was what I think is an immense amount of tactical and strategic thought that went into the very concept of a 7 warband or 7 hero warband pick ban format where you whittled down to 5. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So with Tribes, it's different. I'm putting words in their mouths because they haven't actually said it. But what I think is it's meant to be easier access to the game. So instead of buying into a god and having 13 heroes, and you can decide which 7 you want to bring. And oh, by the way, you can bring any hero in the game. You're not locked to a god. You just get slight benefits if you do. It's just like MCP, right? Except there's 0 min required. You could play out of god with every hero if you wanted. So technically, the models that you could bring were the entire range.
That's not so bad.
With gods, you are hard locked with tribes, you're hard locked into your orcs. Like if you bring orcs, that's all you can bring. There are 6 dwarves in the game, period. So you bring 5 of them. If you're a new player, you're like, buy these 6 models. You can have a little bit of fun dropping which one you want to drop, and because you only bring 5 to the game.
Yeah.
And that's it. You don't have to buy any other model. And you can buy the dwarves when they come out, and it's really easy to play dwarves, for instance, as opposed to a different god, just because your possibilities are so limited. But
so I hit.
Go ahead. So
I was just going to say, I'm liking this tribes idea.
See, again,
I'm like okay, like I like very specific things. So I'd be like, well, I want all my guys to be orcs. I want all my guys to be goblins. Like that looks appealing to me, right?
See, so they might have hit the nail on the head. Let's make this appealing to new players. Let's, instead of focusing on being the tightest competitive game it can be, let's try to expand the appeal a little bit and try to grow the game, which is obviously good for the long-term health of the game. But what you don't do in tribes is get to pick ban. So you bring your 5. Your opponent cannot ban any model. But you also don't get to drop a model. Because normally the pick ban is they ban one, you drop one, that's how you get to 5. So tribes, you bring your 5, that's it. And the person you're playing against, they get to drop 2. So they are advantaged into you because they don't have any of their models vetoed. Gotcha. No one's banned. They just get to pick whatever 5 of their 7. And they know what they're playing into.
And I assume not all tribes are created equal?
Let's pretend like they are.
Okay.
I think the key that a lot of people are hung up on is that the models were never designed for this. And so, like, you might have 2 characters in the game that do the same thing that are in the same race. And so one might be considered better in the game, but in tribes, they were never, like, designed to work together. Like, you weren't expected to bring 5 dwarves to work together. So they have natural weaknesses that they don't do. I guess I explained the first part kind of badly. Let's say Minotaurs in general are very fighty, and they're less support-oriented. Well, when you play all Minotaurs, it means that you're really low on support models. And so you might not be able to accomplish all the things in the game that you want to do.
And I'm going to assume there's a
dwarves
little bit
slow.
of
So
rock, paper, scissors to, like, list building.
So I think the addition of tribes means the rock, paper, scissors aspect of the game, which I never thought really existed, now exists a little bit.
Okay.
All of the tribes have the ability to do about anything, except 2 of them. And orcs have no ranged at all. So they're running downhill, which is very thematic, right? We're a bunch of orcs. We're charging.
Guns are for pansies. Like, what do you
exactly.
need guns for?
So, but most of the other tribes are relatively balanced. Some small weaknesses that aren't pertinent right now. But what I wanted to get back to was, I think the pick ban process was so integral to my enjoyment of the game that even if tribes offers some really cool synergies and abilities that are just new and awesome, I think I'm going to go back to playing gods because I really enjoyed being able to have a say in curating my opponent's list.
But if you play against a tribe player, you still don't get to ban.
Correct.
They just get to ban yours.
They don't get to ban yours at all. You have an advantage. You get to drop 2. So you bring your 7, you drop 2, whatever 2 you want to drop. So
I didn't know that.
Yep.
So if you're playing against a tribe player, there's just, you skip the ban phase and you just get to choose 2 to drop. Okay.
Is
interesting. Because you can't ban theirs because they only bring 5, you get to drop 2 and have more flexibility with what you bring.
Is this an alternative format, as in you're playing gods or tribes, or is this like
100% tournament legal?
Trying to think of another game, like you're playing a god, but I chose to play tribes.
It's
then
just
God plays against tribes.
It's not different.
Okay.
Yep. This is only in how your warband is constructed and what bonuses you get for taking certain models. But the actual game rules and mechanics are 100% the same.
Okay.
I think it obviously makes sense. I think a lot of people ask this is why don't they just make it a separate format? And I think the issue is that when you put the tribes in a smaller pool, it makes it more obvious which ones can beat the others. Because, like, while, let's say, for example, hypothetically, Minotaurs were really good against the other tribes, which I doubt they are. If you include all the gods as well, then that would be a larger pool that they would be fighting against. So it'd be harder for them to dominate the other people. So it's it doesn't make sense to do it from a tribe perspective, but from a god's perspective, I think a lot of people think it makes sense.
Let's operate off the basis that the tribes are all equal to each other and to the gods in power level, with the caveat that there will be some rock, paper, scissors where, like, generically this will win 50% of the matchups, but they have 2 bad counters and 2 really great matchups, right?
Yeah.
So I think having an alt format would have been really bad if their idea was to grow the game, because alt formats tend to take a lot of dev effort to be good, and then no one plays it, and it's just completely fucking wasted. So in order to make this a selling point for new players, hey, come play the game. You're not selling them an alternate version of the game. You're selling them the game.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I don't think any of that's bad. I just wanted to discuss what I thought was my feelings was that, hey, it's been interesting trying out some of this tribes, but if I ever want to take stuff seriously, which I don't all the time, but I really think, and for me, it's about avoiding bad situations I knew I could have avoided. For instance, I played a tribe into a god last night, 2 nights ago, and there was a combo that they had that I really would have wanted to ban, but I couldn't. I'm playing a tribe. I don't get a ban. So he got to bring over 5 models he wanted, and I'm just like the whole game, like, man, really wish I didn't have to play against his model.
Yeah.
Well, if I didn't play tribes, I could have banned that model. So to avoid that feels bad, I'll just play gods.
Do you think that they would, ideally, if they get enough models released to allow the tribes to be on a similar footing to the gods, do you think they didn't add back in the pick ban step?
I think they could. I don't think they will.
Okay.
Now, if the game takes off, right, if this helps to grow the game, either they don't touch it because it's working, or it's met its goal, and then they can add pick ban to get it to quote unquote the same. I don't even want to say level, because I think gods are about the same level as tribes.
It's variable across war games, but I do like a good pick ban. Like we do pick ban MCP now. Far better way to play the game. I don't want randomness. We've even talked internally on the Harvesters before about, like, what if you brought 12 models? Kind of like Battle Realms.
Yeah,
it's
like,
what
just play Battle Realms if you want.
But yeah, if you brought 12 models and then you got to pick ban 3, and it's like, okay, well, that might tamper down some of the feels bad of the worst models. But there's always a skew with that, because then it's like, cool, like I'll bring something I know you're going to ban. Like I'll bring 3 things you have to ban.
Yep.
Right. It's just like when I used to play League of Legends all the time. I basically had 5 bans, and there was 180 characters in that game now or something. Like I have 5 characters I'm going to ban every single time.
Yeah, so this game is basically League of Legends, the board game.
Yeah.
But what if they bring 2 of those characters and you're only going to ban 1? Like, how do you choose which one? And this is what I find interesting, right? Well, maybe it depends on what I have, and maybe it depends what the other supporting models are.
Yeah, I like to have agency in my war games. I like to feel like I earned my win. I made tactical, sound strategies to play the game, and there was something I was doing to earn it. That's why, like in MCP, I hate when I dice someone. Like, that's not fun for me. It's not fun for you to just.
I don't know. You seem to enjoy it a lot when you're dicing CJ.
That's personal. That's different.
Yeah, okay.
That's grudge matching, right? That's. But it's which, by the way, I won't be on the MCP podcast tonight. He won that game. I want that noted. That Hellfire list would have beat me if I hadn't started rolling 3 crits on every attack for an entire round and tabled him.
Well, we'll talk about that on.
You can talk about it. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't play Judgment. It sounds like this tribes thing is something I would enjoy, but it's more. I don't know enough about the game to be like, because like maybe you have gods that have great themes, right? I like a good theme for the models I'm playing.
Yeah. The thing I'm excited about for tribes, I think it'd be really easy to go through and rebalance the tribes with edits, because like it seems to me like a lot of the power of the tribes comes from the warband bonuses and the artifacts and stuff, and all that they just made up a few weeks ago, basically. And so they could obviously change it whenever they want. Nobody's tied to anything, and so I think it'd be really interesting to see how that, if it is at all imbalanced, how it gets rebalanced or just gets changed maybe in the future, or just experimenting with the different combinations.
Well, they patch the game every 6 months, and so if there is an issue, they'll either emergency patch it, which they hate doing, and they won't, because nothing needs it right now.
I agree.
But 6 months from now, if something is over or underperforming, they'll tweak it. So
no, exactly. And so like I'm not at all worried about the tribes getting out of balance with each other. It just seems like such an abstract difference of like the way the game has worked for so long. Even though like the way the game worked before Tribes was totally different than the way it worked in Mark 1. So.
Yep. And then they just released a new free-for-all format, which is an alt format, yesterday. Actually, tonight.
Okay.
They released it a couple hours ago.
All right. So Scream for the Mountains. Is it good or bad?
We'll never play it. Don't care.
Okay. What's the free-for-all?
You get a map.
Everybody has...
everyone gets one effigy, and then you just fight to see until one person wins. And there are...
Oh, it's like a multiplayer. Okay.
Yeah, so it's multiplayer. Like... 3 or 4 player multiplayer free-for-all map with new rules on how to play.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I am not a free-for-all fan in almost any game system.
No, yeah, it's always like someone gets punished, and it's just like, cool. I guess I get shit on today.
Yeah, and take a guess as to who people like shitting on at the game store.
Kenny.
No, it's me. They're like, oh, look at that. We can fuck Aaron in the ass. Great, let's do it. Mm-hmm. So they do, which is fine.
I think it'd be more entertaining, though, to just like play a 4-player game and all 3 players just go for Kenny and don't say anything. And he's just like, why are you all attacking me? He's like, but Jibber's like, we're not trying to target you or anything. It's just like, just kill all.
It was just the optimum play.
Yeah, I mean, it just made sense. Like, you didn't seem like you could really do anything to me back. He's like, that's because all my stuff was dead. Like,
and this is, the devs even said it's more of a casual, do
obviously.
something at a con on a Sunday. It's something else you can use the existing models and terrain and everything you own to play the same game in a different format.
Yeah.
I just think the game is so diverse right now. I don't need an alt format to find fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, my entire conundrum is, I want to support the devs and all the work that they're doing. And am I okay, or is it shitty of me to just abandon Tribes after 2 months of trying them out just because I'm on a podcast and go back to playing Gods full time? I think it's fine. Like, I'm my own person, do what I want, but...
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's not your job to play... Like, let's say they released a new model that you weren't a fan of, and like, it's not your job to play it. Like, obviously, you should play what you want to play. If you enjoyed the other mode, the other type of list more, you should definitely play that.
Yeah.
Just like if Tribes had come out and it was the more fun one, would you be obligated to play Gods? Like, that wouldn't make any sense.
But I still have some inner guilt, so something's wrong with me, apparently.
I would say you're the only one that seems to have given Tribes a fair shake, so I doubt you should have much guilt.
Again, Tribes aren't bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they're bad.
I didn't say they were.
Okay. Well, you said fair
I'm
shake.
just saying other people aren't giving them a fair shake.
Oh, Jeremy's played more Tribes than I have.
But you are clearly trying to test everything and make sure that you've experienced it before you even render judgment on it.
Yes, I'm trying to experience it all. Yeah. That's a great way to put it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're trying to be fair and objective, and the thing you've come to after your experimentation is that you enjoy Gods more. That's not a bad opinion. It's just an opinion.
Okay.
I totally agree with you, by the way, about the pick ban thing. The whole like, it's the same reason nobody plays, what is it, Veto or whatever, Immunity, I think is the other format. I think it's Immunity is the other Fives format. But like, if that was the more popular format, everybody would be playing it. You're not obligated to play Immunity, like if you prefer pick ban.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to try and pressure Jeremy into playing a free-for-all map now. This is going to be great. All right, let's move into Mojo World this week. Okay, so this week for Mojo World, we have our favorite authors of books, preferably, not magazines.
I gotta find 3 more now. Damn it.
Damn it. All right, so starting up this week, we have Aaron.
I am going to give an author that literally no one that listens to this podcast will have heard about, other than Gar. But that's okay, Gar didn't listen to the podcast. David Gimmell. 2 M's, 2 L's. He is, or was, an English author. He died about 20 years ago. He wrote fantasy, and sometimes combined fantasy with a little bit of sci-fi and historical fiction. Anytime anyone asks me what my favorite author is, it's always David Gimmell, because it's the only book that I've ever actually, since I've like hit puberty, cried after or cried while reading. It's called Legend. So if you want a good book, there are usually hero redemption arcs, most of his books. After about the 15th one, you kind of get bored of the plot line. But read Legend by David Gimmell, and if you don't like it, don't read anymore. But otherwise, he's got a whole probably 15 to 20 in various different series.
It shall be added to my list. I love good fantasy.
For a second, I thought it was like the I Am Legend, book that was based on.
No,
and then
not at all.
I checked it. It definitely is not. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it always fucks. There's just too many like titles. Obviously, like you can't always have a unique name. But God, there's so many things that share names. Okay, Josh, you're up.
I have to go with my favorite author of all time, who I have a tattoo of, Ray Bradbury. I love Ray Bradbury. Find his
such famous titles as
Fahrenheit 451, Martian Chronicles, Something Wicked This Way Comes, which is my favorite book. You've probably were forced to read Fahrenheit 451 in high school. And
I skipped it and read Fahrenheit 452.
Nobody forces Brandon to do anything.
Nobody. But yes, cannot recommend him enough. Just beautiful books, honestly.
Cool. Got some classic ones here, it looks like. All right.
He's considered pretty much by now a classical author. Most of his works are pretty pivotal and kind of he floats in that spot of he inspired a lot of later science fiction writers because he was writing in the 50s, 60s. So a lot of people like came along, read his stuff, and were like, "Hey, wait a second," then wrote their own stuff.
Cool. All right, I got back-to-back picks here. I am going to go with Jim Butcher for the Dresden Files, and next up I'll do Brandon Sanderson. I really enjoy the Reckoner series he does. It's a really interesting take on superheroes and like the way everything works, but the detail orientation that he has towards like the functionality of things within his universe I like a lot. Friend of mine, Connor, has heavily recommended more of his series to me, and so I'll probably eventually get around to reading more of them, but so far The Reckoners is my favorite.
My turn?
Yes, sir.
I am going to do Aaron Dembski Bowden for my next one. I can spell that for you, Brandon, if you need. Specifically for his Warhammer 40k Night Lords trilogy, because that is my favorite Legion, but it's also like a really good trilogy. You're rooting for the bad guys the entire time, and then like you keep being like, man, these characters are so great. Then they just do fucked up nonsense. You're like, oh wait, okay, I am reading about bad guys. But he is very enjoyable to read. I've read a bunch of his other stuff too. He mostly just writes Warhammer, so that's it.
Okay. Next, I'm going to take Robert Jordan. It dovetails nicely with your Brandon Sanderson, since Sanderson picked up finishing The Wheel of Time, as well as Josh's comment about tattoos, because I have a tattoo of The Wheel of Time, and we named our kid after one of the main characters. So, almost sad it has to be number 2. But yeah, that is a great fantasy series. It's hard to find a book that's like 700 pages long that you just can't put down.
Yeah. It's usually very easy to put those down. They're so heavy.
Ha ha ha. I will say the middle like 4 books is a slog, but the first like 5 is really, really good, and then he ends it very well as well.
The Jordan ends it well, like the books that he wrote, or Sanderson ends it well?
I have to give Jordan some credit because Sanderson worked on. I mean, he used his notes, right? Sanderson didn't come up with everything.
No, sure. I'm just saying. Are you saying that the last books Jordan wrote were really good? Or...
Yes, like the last 3.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's really books 6 to 10 in the 13-book series they're a slog. Like you go 500 pages without even talking, because he writes each not chapter but group of chapters, if you will, from a certain character's perspective. So the first book we meet all the main characters and we're seeing everyone do everything. But by the time you get to book 6, he'll have 500 pages on characters A and B. and then we'll swap to C and D, and you're like, whoa, hold on. Okay, I guess we're going to pick up where these guys are at the same time period, right? And so it really, I think, gets a little disjointed in those middle couple books until they start to come back together. And then just like, it feels kind of like the MCU, where he brings it all back together. The last couple books are like Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the band gets back together, shit starts happening, stuff gets real. So while it's not probably my favorite series ever, I do like it a lot.
Cool.
And I go next.
Final pick.
It's going to be Brian Jacques. Jacques. One would say Jacques if they were French, but he's English, so it's Jacques. He wrote the Redwall series. Parker's a big fan.
I've heard of that one.
I have read every single book.
You have read every single book?
I have read every single book prior to probably 2014 or something. I don't know if he
he died in 2011, so
there we go.
You're pretty good.
Pretty safe bet.
It is probably the best juvenile fantasy series out there. That, like, if you have, I'm going to say, a 6-year-old, you could pick these up and start reading them to them, and you could continue this until they're, like, 18. Like, just having a read session with them every night or whatever. I'm just saying it works for young ages, but you're going to have a great time reading them as the adult. Can I get an amen on that?
Amen. I was going to say, I love to read, and I would consider him one of the major influences of why I love to read, because I picked them up when I was young, and there were so many, and I was like, just crushing books. And I was like, well, now there's another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. Because he wrote pretty prolifically, so yes, do highly recommend.
20 of them? Yeah.
I haven't read him, since I was 16 or so, but if I ever have kids, definitely they will be getting a.
And just to lay the foundation for some listeners, this series is all predicated on this fantasy world of mice and rats and badgers and stoats and weasels, where like the mice are good and the rats are bad, badgers are good but stoats are evil, and so they're all living in an abbey, and they're obviously anthropomorphized. Anthropomorphized. Yes. And then they have like the pirate rat, and anyway, but it is high fantasy swashbuckling, coupled with morals and all that kind of fun stuff. It's just set in an animal setting.
Cool. Josh, you are up.
So this is very hard, and I've got to pick between two, but I think for the love that I have for the character, I have to go with Robert E. Howard, who was the creator of Conan the Barbarian, amongst other characters. And he wrote Pulp Fiction, which I'm a huge fan of, and cannot recommend his work enough. He was one of those ones where I saved up to buy a really nice, like, collected edition of all of his works together. It's like 800 pages, and like I just never put it down. I just was like, I can sleep later. I'll stay up till 1. I'm going to keep reading these stories. Highly recommend.
Very cool. Final one for me is Benedict Jacka. He's an English writer. He primarily writes modern fantasy. He has a new series out I have not read yet. But the big series that he's written is the Alex Verus Chronicles. Basically, he is a diviner mage that lives in Britain, and he basically he has a dark past where he's basically brought up by an evil wizard and looked down on by the non-evil wizards in the country, and then he tries to basically just stay out of everyone's business, but then shit starts going wrong. He ends up having to do a bunch of stuff. But the way he writes the use of magic in his world, I think, is really interesting, and so I like that a lot. All right. I will definitely spell check all these names before I post this, but it will be fun. Do you guys have any honorable mentions? Or I guess more importantly, what I want to know, did you guys steal any from each other? Because it seemed like you guys were in similar territory.
I did not steal any. None of mine got stolen. How about that?
The Redwall series was my third one. Was a very hard pick, and the Redwall series was floating in there, but I wasn't going to go with it ultimately. So
okay. So basically, nobody stole anything.
No. My 2 honorable mentions would be H.P. Lovecraft.
Okay.
His writings are fantastic. He's the father of like cosmic horror, and his short stories are very good. They're a little formulaic, where it's like man loses his mind, hook at the end, but they are enjoyable. And then in a similar theme as Redwall, R.L. Stine. I had every single book growing up. I did chores to earn money so that when the book fair would come, I could buy the next book. I begged my parents for them. R.L. Stine, obviously as an adult, probably doesn't hit the same.
Is that the Goosebumps series?
Goosebumps. He did write other stuff, and I think he's done some adult horror, but specifically like the Goosebumps ones. I loved Goosebumps growing up.
I remember watching the TV show for a long time.
Mm-hmm. That and Are You Afraid of the Dark? Is that the other one? With the like midnight club?
Yeah.
Where they tell stories? Oh, yeah.
Yep. Aaron?
Orson Scott Card.
Yep.
Oh, good choice.
I think
good choice.
People shit on Ender's Game and that series more than they should. I think it's legitimately very good.
It is probably viewed as like the gateway to sci-fi for a lot of people. Like kind of like Settlers of Catan is for board games. Like, it's how you get people in. It's a nice like safe choice. But yeah, I think I don't see a lot of people praising it rather, and so I think you're probably right there.
I just like what he did as an author. So he took the series. So Ender's Game was written from a series of short stories that he wrote for I want to say it was a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And so he compiled the short stories into Ender's Game. So it didn't start off as a novel. And then he splits his writing and he goes into the same style of writing, what I would call relatively juvenile fantasy sci-fi, your 13-year-old age group. And then he goes into like really deep, what does it mean to be human type philosophical questions in the second branch of where the series goes. And so unlike a lot of these other authors who just they're at the same thing over and over again, it's very clear that he wanted to write about something else and he took the opportunity to do so. And it was really interesting to read the 2 books that I would have never said were written by the same author.
Do you like Frank Herbert, Aaron? Have you ever read the Dune series?
It's been a long time, but
that would be my other shout out of very similar, like philosophic science fiction that is interesting to read. He wrote something interesting, but he had questions he wanted to ask the reader, and I enjoy it.
Yep. What I like more about Scott Card was the juxtaposition of his 2 different novels and the 2 different branches of his series that I could go back and forth between. Whereas with Herbert, it's the same thing.
It is the same thing.
Book, which is not bad, but sometimes it's like I just want to read for fun, and those aren't really books you just sit down and read for fun.
Yeah, slowly devolving madness as you go through each one. Yeah.
Cool. I don't have time to do paperbacks, so I always do Audible for my reading enjoyment. It just allows me to do stuff like paint and edit podcasts and stuff. So I had for a long time canceled my Audible subscription, so I hadn't been getting new credits. But I've re-upped it recently. I was chatting with somebody at the game shop, and we have similar tastes in books, and so we traded a bunch of titles that we were both interested in. So I'm excited to read some new stuff. What I've basically evolved to now is I just keep rereading the same 3 series over and over again, which is fun, but eventually I should probably read some new books.
Well, we gave you some options.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. This has been Brandon.
And Aaron.
And Josh.
And you've just listened to Tribal? ?
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just gonna put down infamous.